Other folks, things that will be happening in this room at the same time, from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And to explain what those things are, I'm going to invite Becky to come up and introduce herself. I'll share a little bit about her group, and then also what else is going to be happening here every single Tuesday night that we meet.
Get out of my way.
And while Becky's coming, I just want to mention there are some 8.5 by 11 flyers here. These you can just take around, put them in a business, and make sure you slice with obviously a pair of scissors or something. You can just tear that off, and that is a 24-hour hotline on there for open access, and also gives them the meeting location.
Awesome. Thank you. I didn't see that.
So anyway, they're over there along with a lot of other stuff too. So here's Becky.
Hi, everybody. We decided with IronGates Recovery that we would tie things together and become collaboratively, hopefully, a place where families can come, people struggling can come, and gather information regarding substance abuse, alcohol abuse. Jim has great information about vaping and reaching out to the community in Ironquoit and beyond. We started out, Michael Favada is here, he's going to speak. He's with the Sheriff's Department. And then next week, Chief Tantalo will be, or the next time we meet, which is March 5th. So we'll meet on the first Tuesday of every month. And then we also have our grief group here. Tuesday, right? First Tuesday of every month.
Every Tuesday you're here.
Every Tuesday, our grief group will be here. But on the first, we'll have meetings and we'll have speakers, and we're supposed to have NARCAN training. I don't know what happened there. She's supposed to be here, so Chief will be here on March 5th, and then I don't know if you guys are familiar with Open Access, but Open Access is the hotline number that we have on the sheet that Pastor Jeff just showed us. Open Access is 24-hour access to help. They're on University Avenue, 1350 University. If anybody's struggling or needs help, they can walk into Open Access and be evaluated for treatment. A lot of times it's great because right next door is Helio Health and they have detox that's there. So Lillian Torres will be coming and speaking about Open Access and everything they do. And then our famous science Bob, Jim Welsey, will be speaking on May 7th. And Rebecca will be sharing a story about her daughter Maya and her artwork. So I think it's going to be exciting. I think we're going to grow. I ask you all to spread the word because knowledge is power, and I think we can share a lot of knowledge here in the room.
Amen.
Chief, you want to? You can introduce Favada. Okay.
Okay.
That works.
Well, first of all, as was mentioned, I'm the chief of the Ironquoit Police Department. We obviously use the Gates to Recovery model when we decided to have a site here in the town of Ironquoit. We knew families were struggling. As you well know, I'm obviously preaching to the choir here. Sorry about that, Pastor Jeff. But in any event, myself and Sergeant Franco, who's in the back, much like other police agencies, investigated a number of tragedies associated with overdose situations. We're not necessarily proud of it, but we were very responsive when we had the ability to move forward with a criminal investigation and subsequent arrest and conviction for a criminal negligent homicide charge. And really walked through. Well, there's a perfect example of one of my famous statements that she makes me look very good. But she did a great job with her team and support from the Heroin Task Force, and I don't want to take away from Mike. He does an exceptional job there. But we're very happy to be partnering. As the sheriff said today, it's not about enforcement. It's about working together as a team. Maybe it is enforcement, maybe it is education, it certainly is prevention, and it really is supporting all of those families, because every life has been touched by this, supporting those families in some form or fashion. I have happened to have 4 of my classmates, so we're all Ironquoit people, 4 of my classmates from high school that have lost an adult child, as the sheriff said today, 35 or 34 years old, an adult child to this. And I'm hoping that they will come and be a part of this grieving group, and we can break down that stigma, and we can make it a welcoming opportunity for them as they continue to grieve for their loss, and Jessica has formed a very strong friendship with one of my former classmates. But anyway, I appreciate everything that Pastor Jeff has done with his group here. They're exceptional work that he does. I apologize for taking too long, but the good news is I'm not running for anything. So, and they've been great here. They're good partners in the place. So, you want me to introduce
Yes,
Deputy
please.
Favada? So, Deputy Favada and I have known each other for a long period of time, certainly not as long as I've been a police officer. I actually saw one of my academy classmates when I was at the sheriff's office today.
Oh.
And he yelled out the year we graduated from the academy, and I wish he hadn't done that. I actually started as a part-time deputy, and I was assigned to the airport, and I was really proud to be a part of the sheriff's office, but I had a real yearning to work in my hometown and be that hometown cop, if you will, and I was blessed in order to be able to do that many, many years ago. But Mike is certainly a very well-respected individual. He's worked in the community services unit, of which my son was a member for a period of time. I have a son that's a deputy sheriff. And then the sheriff had the foresight to put this task force together, and one of the first assignments he made associated with that was to reach out to Deputy Favada because of the exceptional relationship that he has with the community, the exceptional ability he has to relate to people, and is really one of those officers that peels off the layers, and he's really a human being, and he's humanized our profession because there's a person underneath that uniform, behind that badge, and behind that patch. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce the exceptional and really well-respected Deputy Mike Favada.
Hey, it's lunch for a week. Wherever you want. So, well, I mean, if anybody saw the press release today, we talked about how, this isn't celebration for the task force by any means. We didn't expect to be well over 1,000 overdoses, but we look at where we are right now. We are half of where we were this time last year. I know it's early in February, but we pretty much right are at that halfway mark. We're 50% lower than where we were last year. We did not have an overdose today, as of yet, and we've noticed, obviously trends across the board. We talk about Livingston County, what's going on there with Sheriff Doherty and that 394. It's been an issue for many, many years. But what we do with the sheriff's office out there, we send investigators to our meetings. We talk about people who are coming here, who are buying their product here, going that way. We share a lot of information, which is really important. We talk about why the sheriff was sheriff acting as we talked, basically interviewed about this position. I'm very passionate about it. I have a close family member, my cousin, who Rebecca has talked to several times. He's 28 years old, he's overdosed twice. First time he did, my cousin kept him very quiet. She actually was the nanny. She's a retired nurse. She was the nanny for our son. And she didn't say anything about it. So one day she said, I just have to go, something's wrong with Miles, so on and so forth. And then I get a phone call that she said, somebody broke into my house. And I'm like, who would break into your house? She has 2 bull mastiffs. They're huge. I'm afraid of them, and they know me. So nobody broke into your house. It's got to be somebody. And then she came clean about Miles' addiction. And she's like, what do we do? So, the right thing to do is, we arrest them. That's what we have to do. Call for reporting. Jewelry's gone, everything's gone. That right there was the life-changing moment for him. When he said he built some really good contacts with the people that he was in rehab with, that he was mandated to do, which he keeps in contact with now. He's been doing phenomenal for about a year now, we're at. He's at our house all the time, talk to him all the time, he does a great job. Now we're going back 4 years ago before this even really hit us. We had a bunch of deaths that occurred when I was assigned to the U.S. Marshals Task Force. So they came and said, we got to get this out there. When at the time, the sheriff said, we got to get out to the public. We had 3 people die of an overdose. So we told people, and the chief can attest to, shortly after that, we had a spike in larcenies and burglaries. We couldn't figure out why that was. Well, we found out that we had people with addiction coming here because we found out the product was so good that people were dying. So we said, well, we gotta slow down, we can't advertise this, right? So, you know, talking to my father, and I'm open about this, and my father was an addict his entire life. We talked to my dad about, hey, look, you gotta be careful what's going on out there. And it was only about 2 months after that, you know, we found him, he had passed away, you know, from, you know, which we found out later on from an overdose. So, you know, it could happen to anybody. You know, here's a family full of law enforcement, you know, my uncles, my stepfather, and been a stepfather for 20 years, but knowing my dad and whatnot, it can happen to anybody. So it's, so when I go out there and I talk to people every day, I take that sheet that I get at 8:45, every overdose that happened the day before. When I go and knock on their doors, I truly mean what I'm saying to them when I'm trying to get them into, you know, to go to treatment, or at least give them information to call somebody like Rebecca, or the address to Open Access or Helio, whoever it may be, whatever organization is out there. And sometimes it's a phone call afterwards from the mom or dad, because I leave my contact, I'll leave my cell phone, I'm not afraid to do it. Here's my cell phone, call me, I don't care when it's. I've gotten calls at 10 o'clock at night, and gone and pick people up and brought them down to Open Access, it doesn't matter. And they're surprised because, you know, they signal law enforcement, you know, they're here to arrest us, and it's not the case. You know, I don't want to arrest you. You know, I go to schools and speak. I just finished Sunday Falls and Spencerport. We did the entire Penfield school district, or the high school, I should say. And I tell, you know, I tell the parents, and I tell the kids, I don't want to arrest you, and I don't want to arrest your child. You find narcotics in the house, call me. I'll come down. I'm not going to be in uniform. I'm not going to come in a police car. Let me take those drugs. I'll put them in for destruction. I can document it, but let's find out why your kid's doing this. Because maybe arrest isn't the answer for him, or her. And you'd be surprised at how many calls I received shortly after a presentation in Penfield. So to put it this way, I was busy for about 4 days straight, calling houses and meeting with parents who had found drugs in their child's room or in their car. And, you know, we did everything we could to make that better. Put a couple of kids in a young men's center that Unity has. They do a really nice job there. You know, had really good success with that. I went in there and actually talked with the kids just last week. You know, they see me coming in uniform all the time, so I just go down there, talk to the staff, see what's going on. And you can tell that they weren't too happy with law enforcement. So, you know, let's have a little, you know, in apartment, let's have a little bitch session together. You tell me what went wrong with law enforcement. Why is it that you don't like me when I come in? I sat down with 14 boys. And we had an hour and a half with these kids. It was great. They got their frustrations out, told me what was wrong, and then we kind of went back and forth about, well, why do you think I did that? Because I say, I'm law enforcement, I represent us. So I'll tell you why we did that. And I asked them, well, did you run when we got there? Well, yeah, okay. Well, you know, when you run from us, you know, we're gonna run after you. You don't just leave. Stop the kids. Depends if we had to go. If it was cold out, we were going to eat. But no, the point is making them understand why you came with you. It was nice, because when I walked out of there, each and every one got up and shook my hand, and you know, it was nice. But I'm looking at 2 kids that I had put in there just a month and a half prior. And seeing the change in them has been really good. So it is rewarding having this position. But one thing I want everybody here to know is that, you know, reach out to me if you need anything. If it's you know, you want to speak at your business. We do a thing with Rochester Works. We just finished at Bosch Salon. We went down to with John Primo and from Complimar. It's a great program because now we're actually training HR personnel. It happens they have find somebody with drugs, or they have an employee who's calling in sick, signs to look for. Maybe they have a relative, husbands, whatever. They can now have a resource for us. They can reach out to us, and we've already actually made contact with several different employees of some of the larger companies that we've already spoken to. So our average age is 35 years old with the overdose. How do you hit that? You know, how do you get into that? So we thought about the working age, get into the businesses. I went to most of the union halls for the union meetings. Spoke with them. Received about 11 phone calls today just from the unions themselves. So that's a good thing. and referred them to different organizations throughout Monroe County, so. Does anybody have any questions? No? Because I can just go rambling on, I'm not really.
Keep rambling.
No, it's not. But it's it's really important. Without, all the people, like I said, Rebecca, Valerie Wade from East House, she's really making a push to have long-term housing. We're gonna be meeting with her about that over the next couple of weeks. That's gonna be a big thing coming up, because we have people right now on the waiting list that not get housing. They've finished their treatment. They don't really have much, anywhere to go, but they still need that support. They still need a roof over their head. So we're looking at the next step. Where do we go next? So Valerie talked to me about that today. Talked a little bit about Sandra today as well. So hopefully we can get something going on that. That's it.
Hi, I'm John. I had 20 years. I used to be out there doing it, and I just recently lost my brother to that, and I think it's awesome what you're doing.
It is, but you gotta give the credit to, I'm not saying it because he's my boss, but when Sheriff Baxter came in and put this in place, and he took guys off the road and had to figure out ways to, still cover, people's shifts and put this together and make it work financially and prove to the community that it's a good thing. It was tough, when we've had, many hurdles to go through. You look at the crime reduction that we do, and that's a big thing. With the Project Hope, we went down and spent 4 days in Staten Island, met with the district attorney down there to see how he formed Project Hope. We went and visited all their treatment centers and brought it back here. We just released that, I think it was last month or so, we did the Project Hope release, and
What does that stand?
I don't know what it stands for, but it's,
I know.
basically it's, if you get stopped by the possession 7, I find drugs in the possession 7 charge. Basically what happens is, if you fit the criteria, you don't have any felony convictions, and it's not a domestic related interaction, you have the option to go right to treatment. If you go right to treatment, you get brought down right to open access. We do the paperwork. That'll, is there somebody yelling at
A baby crying.
Yeah, I'm like, but the point of it is that they get brought right down to open access. The DA's office takes over from there along with the treatment providers. We still do the arrest package. That arrest package is put on hold. We do not do anything with that. You complete the program, your arrest goes away. You don't have a record. You never have to step foot in court. And the point is to give people a second chance. And it said, we only give you one chance to do this. If at any point in time you don't complete the program, the arrest goes through, fingerprinted, your photos, and you end up getting right through the court system. But what they saw in Staten Island was a decrease in larcenies and burglaries by over 20%. They had over 320 people complete the program. And their demographics are very similar to ours. So we looked at it as, how can we lose by not at least trying this? So we just started it, let's see how it goes. It's RPD and the sheriff's office right now. We're testing out to see how it goes, and then it'll be opened up to, every department. But, let the two, as we discussed in the past, let us work out all the bugs, and then it'll be an easy handoff to the departments to say, look, here's the program. This is how simple it is. This is what we found didn't work, and you can have at it. So go ahead.
I didn't see any of the news conference today, but I'm wondering, in your own estimation, what was the best and the worst of the news?
Well, the best part is that, we're doing another year of this. We're going to continue on with, doing the education, doing the outreach, and the enforcement side. The enforcement side did a wonderful job. Over 31,000 hits of pure fentanyl they removed off the street, just that small team. So it's, over 300,000 in cash. I forget how many firearms, so it was very productive. Over the last 3 months, we've been working a wire, so we haven't really been out there making, the arrests like we were in the volume that we were. We're still out working, but we have to rotate guys through to work this wire on a case that came across just basically on a traffic stop. The guys did a great job interviewing somebody, and it turned into this. So it's the positives are it's going to continue on. We're not backing off this one bit. The negative is that we had over 1,000 overdoses with 157 that had died from it. But those are only the numbers that we have. If you remember last year, we had 170 reported. Once we got the medical examiner's report back, it was what, 220, 230? Yeah, it was high. So we're probably going to be at the 250 mark, if not 300 this year, depending on what comes back from the medical examiner's office. Pretty high number. Any other questions? Well, that's all I have.
Thank you.
You're welcome.